Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, a show that examines all aspects of sexuality, from physical to emotional to spiritual. Join our hosts as they discuss age-old questions, common misconceptions, and the latest topics surrounding sex. They'll tackle topics about sexuality from the complicated to the hilarious and everything in between. GSMC Sex Podcast is your show for all of your questions about sex, even some you might not have thought of yet.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, today's topic is the all-elusive phone sex. You know, a lot of people have mixed feelings regarding phone sex. Some people are shy. I mean, I'm assured some people sit on one line of the phone and make the person on the other line, the partner, make them believe that you are actually pleasuring yourself. That is not fair. And generally that is a man that generally would do that. But then again, it could also be the woman. However, let's just talk about the definition or how Wikipedia describes and defines phone sex. It defines it as a conversation between two or more people on the phone. I would hope so, because it is called phone sex, which is sexually explicit. Yes, it is, because you're trying to get an orgasm going for both of you and, time it just right. So yes, it is sexually explicit, where the word sex in that topic is quite loud and clear. But goes on to say that it is intended to provoke sexual arousal in one or more participants. Obviously, for the most part, phone sex is between you and your partner. However, I'm sure there are some sex phone group chats that are going on. So why not? Sometimes the more the merrier is better. Now phone sex is generally used a little bit more commonly now than back in the day. However, it is just really always used if you are in that long distance relationship and keeping the sexual bonds between you going in those times where you are temporarily separated, because you're thinking about your partner. When's your partner going to come home? If they're on a business trip, if they're away just at work, to you that might just be too long of a separation. But there is that long distance relationship where they are miles away. And this is your way of, getting that little bit of sexual frustration out and participation with your partner through the phone. And it's always do so. Nowadays, it has grown, shall I say, into a virtual sex now with FaceTime and Skype and WhatsApp, and I believe Snapchat does it too. Google does it. So it has grown, and it has, developed into more of a visual yet still phone sex. However, Obviously, if you want to have still that mystery involved, it will be directly over the phone. Now, later on, I will put a little bit of, phone sex versus sexting with your partner. Little things that are a little hard to do with either one of those. Also, finish out with some ways to have some awesome sex with that not so endowed man penis. Because that man may be awesome in bed, but may not, may be lacking in the package area. And I know that the saying goes, it's not how big it is, but how you use it. Well, they do have some sexual positions where the woman wants to be part of that as well. So we will discuss those later on. Now, there are different forms of phone sex. There is the guided fantasy. You can just do sexual sounds. There's the narrated and enacted suggestions, sexual antidotes and confessions, candid expressions of sexual fantasies, feelings, or love, or discussion of very personal and sensitive sexual topics. Now, mind you, it might be just that much easier for you to role play over the phone. And if you're going to try this in person with your partner, this might be just the way to get past that shyness. As you can go from phone sex to a virtual to in person and trying different things. However you want to do it, phone sex is a great start, great way to begin, if you want to say it that way, or to actually feel it out between your partner. As with regular sex or virtual sex or, group sex, any sex involving something new that you're going to try or a little roughness or anything, is always an element of consent. So do make sure that it is there and that both of you are definitely into wanting to be turned on by what your partner says on the other line. Hell, you may love just the way your partner's voice sounds. And the minute they answer the phone, that's it. You've already wet yourself. So knowing that you had already started something beforehand that may have started through sexting and, went on to, build up to phone sex, who's to say you might be able to just tease right through that, not go all the way. But the whole idea of phone sex, for the most part, is to have that fantasy with the ultimate outcome of the orgasm on both ends of the phone. Although when you do call a phone service, whoever it called is actually giving the instruction, I would presume, to have that person on the other line just orgasm. However, the other end of that is, yes, they do call there for themselves to get off. That's why you pay them. They're not cheap, from what I've read. So, with phone sex, there's no physical contact between the two of you, which with individuals or partners who are just away on travel or something like that, it is wicked difficult, but it does help the heart just really, or that sexual desire grow so intensely so that when your partner does get home, you can basically just jump their bones. In other instances, it could be that you're just 15 minutes away from your partner's place and you just don't want to travel right then and there. You just want that instant gratification, just hear their voice to get you off. go for it. And with phone sex, there is a lot that you can bring into play. And we'll go through some tips to have some good phone sex. Toys you can use. Hell, you are masturbating, but you're just doing it through the phone, and your partner's, envisioning what you're saying as you are envisioning what they are telling you to do. So those toys do come in handy, because phone sex is a substitute for physical intimacy at some points in time, because there may just be that inconvenience of the distance, something that you and your partner didn't plan on, but it did happen. And this is your way of, hey, maybe saying, I'm sorry, honey. Don't know. It's totally up to you and your partner. So there is also, when you have phone sex, there is a potential for emotional intimacy that between the partners who are engaged in it. Because what do you do before you meet somebody, especially in a new relationship? You talk a lot on the phone, you text, you do all these things, you even send flowers, do all this stuff before. This is trying to show your best hand, basically. You're courting. So this is, phone sex could be that way. See if some people even do it just to see if this is the person that they want to be with, and if they are, meeting their erotic level sexually. So this is some partner's way of engaging that. So that is the other way of looking at this. I mean, sometimes people think it is considered fidelity. Verdict's still out on that one. But, sometimes some people, believe it or not, will do something with another partner that they would never ask the partner that they love, they've been with forever, they're married to. But what you don't understand is it is being perceived as an insult, basically, because now your partner is thinking, apparently I don't turn you on enough. So you really need to have this open. There are relationships where, there are days when sex is not an option and the partners are like, go ahead. You want to talk on the phone dirty, get yourself off, masturbate, go for it. It gives a little bit of a break to the partner. But that is, like I said, completely between you and your partner. Phone sex is not a substitution for prostitution or anything along that, because obviously going out and paying for sex, I'm assured you literally want to actually touch, feel, and do. So phone sex can be, it's a business out there, people. It is a big business. Where, originally, phone sex services basically consisted of a managed network of dispatchers, live or automated. So that's really bad. And erotic performers. So you're on the line of the phone. You don't know who the hell you're talking to. So it could be so totally the opposite of what you think that person looks like. But they're getting you off because you called for it, and that's what they're giving you. Phone sex is what you make it, but nowadays is quite helpful in a little bit of distance or long distance relationships as a whole, which you hear every day on the phone, on TV, or people that you've talked to on how they met their partners. Oh, he or she lived across in the West while you lived in the East, and we just knew it, and they moved here, or I moved there. You hear it every day. So that phone interaction is very, very important, whether it be cybersex, a chat line, dirty talk, mobile porn, too funny, obscene phone call. Hey, we get the occasional one, someone will just call and breathe. It's probably the most excitement you've had that whole day. So, sexting, obviously, we'll discuss that a little later. And this is all how you can actually have a business as well. You may have it inadvertently, but who's to say? I don't think so. I think you might want to just stick with the talking to your partner. Like, again, who's to say when you two are separated that you're calling that phone line, that sex phone line, to get off again because you know you're not going to ask your partner to get back on the phone to do it again. However, your partner may just do it, call you back up and say, hey, you want to do that again? There is the, how we say, I don't know, the versatility in phone sex. To put it like straightforward. So there are a lot of apps out there as well that you could do, but we will talk about those later because we are going to take a break here. And when we come back, we'll continue with phone sex. So go get that drink, go get that snack, come back, get relaxed, and meet me back here for more sex talk.
Still on the search of that one true love? On the limbo in this crazy world of dating, marriage, relationships? Well, listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Relationship Podcast, your one-stop podcast for everything about relationships.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am still your host, Andra, with a topic about sex. This from the point of view of an older woman. Now, our topic today is phone sex. And, ways, whys, how. And then later on, probably close out the show with some ways that you can have, or some positions, shall I say, to have some great sex with a not so endowed penis. So, yes, it is not the size that matters. It is the way that you use it. But there are times, and for most women, they like it pretty damn big. So, hey, I'm just saying. So, continuing on our way with phone sex, some people feel really, really awkward with phone sex. I mean, you're in that bit of a long distance relationship, not by choice, because maybe your partner went on business, or you are in a long distance relationship because you met somebody, but they live out of state or many miles away from you. And you're, seeing if you are going to be in a relationship, and then you'll decide later if someone's going to move closer or further away. But phone sex, and nowadays it has, graduated up to virtual sex, but phone sex is that all ultimate way of doing it because you cannot see your partner at all. You are just basically going off the sounds of their voice. And they are, guiding you right through that little travel and pathway to that ultimate orgasm on the phone. But obviously, it does involve that also fun act of masturbating. Or if your partner says you're not to touch yourself on the other line of the phone, you are just to talk and tell them what you want them to do to themselves while they masturbate. That could be fun as well. Or you could have more than 1 to 2 party on that pillow talk line. Yes, love that movie, also long ago. But either way you want to look at it, the whole purpose is to have some erotic chat, and the goal is to have an orgasm or to have your partner on the other end have the orgasm while you tell them what to do. So you do get into that comfortable position because you may just be laying on the bed, rubbing yourself, or you could be sitting in the and on member and ready to go. So there are some people feel stupid, well not stupid, but awkward on the phone talking about it because they really don't know what to say. When you're sexting, you're not looking at each other. You're not actually speaking right to each other through a phone. You could be reading something and you typed what you saw into there. But that is a little misconception for your partner because they're expecting one thing from you and you're turning around doing another. And you will be called out on it one day. So please do sexting wisely. Now, when you do have phone sex, again, remember consent between parties. Also, after, take a shower or clean up. But there are ways to know when to end that phone sex. Everybody is different, but the whole idea is to get each other to that orgasm and try and doing it simultaneously. So, like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, it might just be that one time where your partner doesn't want you to do anything. They just want you to tell them what to do to themselves, and they'll do it for you. So it's that little bit of a guided sex tour there. But that little awkward is, and I'm assured everybody has gotten up there, and if someone came to me, let's have some phone sex or talk dirty to me on the phone. And what is the first thing most people stop and do? What? Why? I don't want to talk dirty. People are looking or whatever. This is why you do this in the privacy of your own home or somewhere where no one can see you. Please, people, think about it. It's just that simple. You are pleasing your partner. So, I mean, there are ways to have some good phone sex. So let's start us off here, because this is what our topic is for this particular time in the show. So the first thing you might want to do is run through a yes, no, maybe list. Now, what I mean by this is come up with a list or compile a list of role-playing fantasies or playthings or things that, you would like to have done to you and have your partner say to you. Or you can ask your partner on the line of the phone is, have you tried these? Let's do it over the phone or whatever. So there are ways of doing this. And some things you can really start off with is the light biting, like that lip biting. A little bit of bondage for yourself. Hey, your partner may tie you up before they leave. Go to their apartment and then just say things to you, leave the phone right by your ear. I'm assured it's been done. I have no idea. But that is all what people are into. Lap dance, orgasm denial. Now we all know what that is. You get them all the way to the end and you stop them, or you're not having an orgasm, but yet you are. So there are some things. It's been noted to be called a sexual homework assignment, which is instead of getting that letter grade, you're getting the also wanting orgasm in the end. So there's the positive to that, and actually is better than an A sometimes. But you can give that A. You can give an A plus after. But that orgasm is going to tell all. Next thing is you hone in on the voyeurism fantasy. Now we all, and I've spoken about this. I've had a segment on this, whereas, you're getting sexual pleasures or sexual excitement from watching others when they are naked or engaging in sexual acts. Here's where the virtual comes in. I mean, your partner may get on the phone and tell you, I left you a little present in the VCR or the DVD. Tell them a little old school. VCR was out in my day. It's still here. You still got them. I still got VHSs, so they still work. But your partner may say, I left you something in the DVD. And when you get on the phone, they'll tell you to turn it on. And there you are. They've, filmed themselves masturbating to give you, while you're doing sex talk, a visual. Because you're watching this, you're getting horny by watching your partner, but you can't touch your partner because your partner is not right there. They are on the other line. But you can tell them, or they can tell you, what you are wearing, what to take off, when to take it off, how do you look? Look at yourself in the mirror. This are those things where you could tell them how you're exactly touching yourself, or they'll tell you how they're you can ask them, tell me how you're touching yourself. What are you doing? There are things, too, where if you've been with them long enough, if they're lying or not, and if they're actually doing it and not making you do it without them. So keep those in mind, too. Moving right along, get a little submissive or dominant. This is the best way to try out if you want to do the in-person BDSM. Okay? Your partner will dictate where to touch you, or how you can touch yourself, or how hard or how lightly to touch yourself. And they might turn around and tell you from point to point how you're feeling. Is it getting more wet? Is your vagina really oozing? Did you have that first orgasm? Or if you feel as though you're telling them that you're about to have the orgasm, they'll tell you to stop touching yourself because they don't want you to go. Yeah, because they're not ready. So remember that that little bit of submissive and dominance actually works very well with phone sex, because it's the way of seeing how this would probably play out. And you can probably go out and introduce a small paddle for spanking, or get, those bondage handcuffs and, or tie their hands up with ribbons to the bedpost. However you want to look at it, there are so many bondage toys out there. Get creative, but do get consent and educated on it. Now, obviously, if we're going to go with the submissive dominant, and they're going to tell you what to wear, how to wear it, where to touch, you can bring in some toys. So use those toys. Don't be afraid. And They may just tell you to turn it on and put it up to the phone so they can hear it. Do it. That's all there is to it. Oh, look there, I rhymed. But use that vibrator. Now with the toys that are out there for long distance relationships, they can control it for you, which is great now, especially through phone sex. They can control the item Bluetooth while you're on the phone with each other. And there are those his and hers, or his and his, or hers and hers, toys out there that work just the same way. You can control what's going on that end, and they can control what's going on your end. So remember, these sex toys have, evolved immensely over the years. So do go and try those. If you know for a fact that your partner is going to be away, go to a sex store, pick up some things. Or I know they have like little bracelets or something you could wear that are Bluetooth, and you can do a pattern on them, and only your partner will feel it on their wrist. That might just, there might be a particular pattern that you have your partner trained to that you could, initiate when you're beginning that sex talk, or even when you're within the realm or already in sex talk. But you could also go online. There are a lot of places on there that have these toys now, so do that. Now, next is, as I said earlier, start with some sexting. That could get you in that little bit of a mood, because generally when you're sexting each other, you're both at work or you're in a place where you really can't do anything. So that sexting helps to get you in the mood. Can't wait to go home. It's that foreplay without seeing each other. And it's always and the reason why you're being that way is because you can't do anything. And it's like a yearning your body will have. So when you do get home and they tell you, I'll be home late, but this is what I want you to do and be ready when I get home. Let me tell you, or put out an outfit. They might tell you to lay out an outfit and don't put it on. They may tell you to put on a particular pair of panties they want to see you in. Go out and buy you some crotchless panties for this night. This is all the sexting, and you can text back and tell them what you are going to do to them when they get there or they get on the phone. There are so many ways that you can take sexting. Do not, because you're going to ruin everything. Well, maybe not, but in the most part, don't send pictures. One, because you're probably in a place where if there's a lot of people and they happen to see, not appropriate. But sometimes that actually kills the feeling. In other ways, it doesn't, because you're imagining, oh my God, that is what I have to play with later on. Let me get this ready. That vagina, that penis. You might even want to take pictures of your nipples for them and a little ice on them so they're standing up in the picture. It is completely up to you and your partner. Now, we're going to take a break from ways to have sex talk without feeling awkward. And when we come back, we will finish up on this topic and continue on with some more things that are lovely to do with sex talk and the phone, and how to, go virtual and all that good stuff. Not like you guys really need to know how to do that, but there are those of you who are listening that have not exactly tried that yet. So, and as promised, we'll finish out the show with some sexual positions that are really amazing for having sex with that person who is not, endowed in all the right places. A little small, but hey, not the size that matters, how they use it. We're going to put some positions with that. So, replenish that drink, replenish that snack, get comfortable, either in a recliner or on your bed. Who's to say my voice is sexy for you? And get comfortable, and I will meet you back here for more sex talk with Andra.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, welcome back. And our continuing subject on phone sex and some ways to have some phone sex where you won't feel quite as awkward, especially if someone says to you, your partner, talk dirty to me. I want to get off. I want to have an orgasm. I want to masturbate to the sound of your voice. So that may be something new that they have tried on you. It might be something that someone new that you met asks you to do. And without feeling awkward, if you really like this person, you'd probably do it. But if you are really feeling uncomfortable, please let them know that, because first of all, you should have consent. And as promised, we will continue the topic of phone sex in last session. But I will end out the show with some positions to have some great sex with the less endowed penis. Not everybody is well endowed. So, but there are ways to use it with no problems, and the positions that will help you get there, because they may be great in bed. So you just want to have the penis to match. So let's continue on with phone sex and ways not to feel awkward. Don't worry about whether or not you're saying the right thing. And that is always the first thing you think about. Because when they tell you to talk dirty and you really have never done that, what do you say? Most likely they will start the conversation, get you in the mood, and then it will just flow. So, really let it flow. Don't try to force it. Just listen to what they're saying and go with the flow. How would you react if that person was right there talking to you? Exactly. I don't even have to say it. Be vocal. You know how that is. You have to put your own words in there and say it in a whisper. Or, sprinkle in a few playful highs. So, really, try and turn it up. Those little sounds, those little moans, those little groans, those little, making them scream during sex, make them scream on the phone, because that's a turn on for you. Like I said earlier, listen to your partner and what they are saying. They will give you clues where you could just join in. Phone sex is that of role playing without seeing. So lead your partner. Whereas they're, leading them out of how they feel. You'll start to hear it in their voice. It'll start sounding different in there. You won't have that awkward feeling anymore. And talk about those tidbits. Remember when there was that time you and your partner were out on the beach, no one there at nighttime. You found a little dune to hide behind and you had sex in the sand. Bring out those little fond memories which you can play off of. Live vicariously through the phone. Like we say, we live vicariously through someone else. Do it through the phone. Do things that you probably wouldn't do in person. Do them on the phone. But do let your partner know that would probably not be something you'd be right out willing to do in person. It may be something you can work up to, but it's something that you probably wouldn't do in person. Try confessional time. Tell them your sins, your dirty little raunchy sins, how bad you've been, what you've been thinking of. What did you do that was dirty today that turns you on? Tell them. Or tell them things that you've never said before that you thought about doing to them. Confess it. That's what the phone sex is there for. Explore new places with your words. You could be anywhere with your words. You don't have to be there physically, but you can turn that into awesome phone sex in that fantasy that you can stop playing over the phone with them. It's been, this is something that you are trying or you have thought of trying. Don't know if your partner's going to want to do it. Play it out on phone sex. This way, and you can even say, I always wanted to try this. Let's play it out here. I want you to orgasm. I want you to touch yourself in this way as if you are in that fantasy with that person. Now, don't forget about pillow talk, that little winding down, getting you to reconnect on all levels. Very, very, very important because it brings you back down to each other. Now, just like with sexting, foreplay, and all those little things that you do beforehand to get your partner hot and bothered, phone sex is an appetizer, not just the main event. So if you are on the phone having phone sex with your partner, you may just be able to turn what you're saying on the phone into that reality when the two of you are together and actually build on that. Remember to always be safe with anything that you do sexually. There's where that lovely consent comes in. It is good to tell your partner what your fantasies are for phone sex, but that's probably where you would want it to be. So be safe on what you're saying, where you are, and how you are doing it, because you don't know if your partner is going to have it's going to have an effect on your partner in a different way. You may be able to have said that to them behind closed doors, but on the phone, they don't want to hear that. So remember that. Don't be afraid of the lulls of the silence during phone sex, because the two of you may be concentrating on the words that have just been said to each other. So don't get nervous. If you have to put some noise in there, just breathe heavy or moan or tell them how good you feel. But remember, don't be afraid of it. That's just letting you know that both of you are actually concentrating on getting to that orgasm from the words that each one of you have, or instructions that you have told each other and what to do and how to touch yourself, how to touch your vagina, how to touch a clit, how to rub it, put your finger, play in there. And on the other end of that, if it's a male, how to hold your penis, how to stroke it up and down, what to put on it. These are the things that you're talking about. And there are some times where you want to just take a little bit of a detour and just say what you're going to do now that you're going to get to the orgasm on the phone in this phone sex. But when you get in person, this is what you're going to want to do after all of this phone sex talk. There are a lot of things that are very fun to do with phone sex, but it is awkward for some people. Remember that. And one of the most important things is don't be afraid to cut your partner off, or that person on the other line of the phone you're having phone sex with. If you feel uncomfortable, don't be afraid. However, some people don't know when to cut off that conversation of phone sex. And the whole idea is one person may ejaculate or come before the other person, get their orgasm. That could be man or woman. But so these are where these little things come in, and you use them so that you can kind of time them together where you have your orgasms together. And I'm assured both of you would like to hear that from one another while you're on the phone. So there are ways not to be awkward when having phone sex, and there are some of them. We're going to continue our phone sex talk by going through the ways that you can basically have phone sex, amazing phone sex, without getting shy or ruining it. But these are all ways that don't even have to be done, that you just want to do to get prepared for phone sex. As little as they are, you would do these things if you were seeing your partner in person for that sexual encounter. First, dress for it. Put on that little sexy outfit so that it makes you feel sexy, and you can describe it to your partner. And they're going to get real sexed up all about it as well. They're going to get so turned on and wet and hot and bothered, and you want to get that hot on, especially since they can't touch you. It's going to be so intense. Start to build up slowly. You start slow with the phone sex. You don't want to go too fast. And then get into it. Talk about what you'd like to do to that person. Obviously, already discussed. But get a little bit more. Do it slow. Go a little faster, then bring it down. You can do rough and slow with phone sex as well. So these are things that are really versatile, that go from the bedroom and to phone sex. Remember that. Tell him how you're pleasuring yourself, not just by what he's telling you to do to yourself. Tell him how you're doing it. He may have told you to do it one way, but you found a different way. You're still going on that avenue. So tell him. Tell that partner on the line. Reminisce about some of your great sex nights. So you always think about those, because if you get really excited when you are just thinking about having sex with your partner, bring those into phone sex. And as always, remember when to end it, because you will have to end it. Don't feel uncomfortable with doing so, because you don't need to have to be sitting there and wondering. If you're ready to stop bringing it down to a close. Remember, it's both of you. If they are not finished and they want you to continue, well, they've already told you they're asking you that. They're asking you. It is completely up to you if you want to continue that sex talk. Most likely, you probably do. Or you may just say no. Tell them to stop. And when you get off the phone, whether or not they get themselves off and masturbate, well, you can probably control that too by saying, and don't touch yourself when we're off the phone. I want you to hold it till you see me, especially on those days where you're probably getting ready to see each other anyway. So things like that. I mean, and it could work when they're long distance from you and you know they're coming home like the next day. This is a sexual game. It's a sexual allure. It's a way of attraction. It's a way of building that bond. It's a way of putting those things out there that you would not normally say and or do. So do it and see how it goes, because that is what phone sex is all about. It's all about the big O, just like in the bedroom, just like during FaceTime when they're watching you play with your clit, masturbate to town. You can watch them come all over the screen. Remember, that's what it is for. Phone sex is that foreplay. If right then and there you want to move it up a bit, move it. Get it to build up. And then say you want to turn to video, virtual. If they say yes, yes. If they say no, well, you can turn around and tape yourself or watch yourself while they're still talking to you. I'm assured it can be done with today's technology. Hell, if they're making Bluetooth toys for long distance with both of you, I think that this can be done now, and I'm assured it is being done. Phone sex is where you could just let it loose, where you're not going to go up to somebody face to face and tell them this, especially if you're not ready, you're not feeling comfortable yet or anything. This is a way to actually try it out. See how it is. Who's to say your partner who's on the other line receiving that phone sex will turn around and come to you over your house, or you go over their house, or they're coming home from their long distance business trip, or whatever the case may be, and they may turn around and say, hey, we did this on the phone in reality. Let's go to the store and get these things. Let's do this. Completely up to you. You've gotten past that stage of talking about the sexual fantasy. You've guided your partner through that sexual fantasy. Your partner's got you off through that fantasy on the phone, through phone sex. So, see how you like it. In reality, this is what it's there for. However, don't substitute phone sex for actual sex, because you need to get to that point where the touching and the feeling does come in, because you are also learning how to guide your partner along. Now, we are going to take our last break in the show. So, totally up to you if you want to get some more snacks. You want to get some more drinks. Come back at Relaxed. Or, if you are masturbating while I talk, you want to finish yourself off, go ahead and do it. That is fine by me. But I am still going to take that break. So, I will meet you back here for more sex talk with Andra.
Are you tired of the same old news? Are you sick of the seemingly endless political spin and negativity? The GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast is a weekly news podcast covering all the top positive and uplifting news stories. We cover stories that will inspire, uplift, and remind you of the good in the world. Tune into the Golden State Media Concepts America Still Beautiful podcast to get all the great and positive news stories of today. Download the GSMC America Still Beautiful podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Thank you for tuning into the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Andra, where the topic about sex is from the point of view of an older woman. Now, welcome back to the final portion of my show. And yes, I will talk about positions. We're going to talk about some, because our topic has been a phone sex. There are some great apps out there that actually are good for amping up your sex life. And because we always look at sex and feeling good about ourselves and having good self-care, why not have an app that helps us along? So there are a lot of people out there. Things have been taboo for too long, people, when it comes to sex. Too many things have been tabooed or forbidden. This is the age of sex for everyone. So remember, if they're not doing it, they're at least pleasuring themselves and don't want you to know about it. So some of the ideas for apps that are out there, which are really good for, like when you're having a little lack of sex in there with your partner, or it's phone sex and because your partner is long distance and they want you to take care, keep you up. So these are some apps. The beginning, I believe that most of these apps are only in the App Store of Apple, but nevertheless, I'm assured if you look, they're probably also in Android. And the first one is Emjoy, and that is EMJOY. And it is like an audio guide for intimate well-being. It has wellness section that includes guided practices and stories. So I would believe that you partner while you're away could probably tape a story and put it on there for your partner to seek out. Or just like I said, tape yourself and have her listen to it when you call. So there are ways to look at this. And there are different areas for you to focus on, like how to be more present during sex. And also, really finding out what you like and do not like. These are all in this app. Do explore it, because there's a lot of things out there. And there are different sessions and different things that you can do. The next one is Ferly, Ferly. And this one actually it helps you to learn the art of sexual self-care. And this might just get you out of that nervousness or that anxiousness when it comes to phone sex as well. And this particular app has a mix of sessions, quizzes, workshops, and saucy stories to help you better understand how you actually feel about sex, not just how you have it. So, A little bit of a confidence builder there. Next one on our list, is DIPSEA. DIPSEA, like the sea. You're going to go sailing. Now, these are a lot of short audio, and they're aimed feeling horny and more in touch with your body. This is a way, the people who created it actually came up with the idea after finding no erotic sexual content out there that actually spoke to millennial women. So there you go. That shows you how much it has changed. They made an app to actually guide and help and put that out there for you. So that is thinking of the sex of today and how to change it. The next app is called Lover. Now, most of you who are on Tinder, this is created by the Tinder founder. So, Sean Rad. So, there you go. It actually lets you take sexual personality quizzes, explore carnal knowledge tutorials, and discreetly figure out which turns on you share with your partner to help you feel better connected. So, Tinder is one of the highly sought after apps for meeting someone. So, this does not surprise me that they came out with a sex app to go along with it. So add it to your library of apps, shall I say. So your repertoire was what the word I was looking for. Another one is called Pillow Play. What is phone sex talk? Pillow Play, Pillow Talk. Now, this particular app actually promised to rescue any sexless marriage. And this can go for a partnership as well, long-term partnerships. Every so often, we'll get a little bit stale there. Whether you want to admit to it or not, it does. You want to change things up a bit. It's voiced exercises that guide you through new romantic and sexual endeavors. Nice. So it walks you through how to do things sexually. The exercises only get steamy as weeks go by, so it's a continual thing that you do. And week 1 of Pillow Play, it guides you through how to massage your partner. Week 3, on every week there's something different. It actually telling you how to tie them up, blindfold them, and kiss you. Lick and stroke them. There are all these things that are out there. So remember, it is from lovely Pillow Play, which seems to be really one of the apps that's really in-depth sexually. A lot of them will tell you how to do or walk you through how getting that awesome orgasm or how to masturbate properly or whatever it does to get you off. These apps are for you. Now, the next one is called Kindu. Kindu. Together. That one word. Well, it could be pronounced kind-do. I don't know. I'll go with Kindu on that one. This is, whereas they're looking at it, you know how when you're swiping back and forth to look through possible mates in an app, this is a Tinder-style app with sex ideas for couples. So it goes along that line as you swipe through, like you would do on Tinder. However, with this, you're actually swiping through to get sexual ideas for you and your partner. So swipe away. Swipe to the right, swipe to the left, do what you like. And the both of you can be doing this at separate times, but be connected in that way partner-wise, like you do on Tinder. And if you give a thumbs up and your partner gives a thumbs up for that sexual act, that means the both of you would like to do that, and you have the thumbs up to do it. So go and try it. You could try it out in the bedroom. If you don't like it at that point, don't do it. But it does allow you to talk about or get out there to see if the both of you want to do kind of sort of the same fantasy in the bedroom, or the same role playing in the bedroom. If you want to try something there. So that is what that is really good for. Now, as we go down the list, there's actually an app, which you can view this app any way you want it. It could be either positive or negative in a way. However, it is called Places I Had Sex. So you might want to let, if it's a new person, somebody see that, because it's like your little black book of places you've had sex. And you might not want to scare them off too soon, but this is it kind of sort of say you and your mate want to keep track of how you're doing or where you've had sex. This is one of those. And it could be in the world. It could be just at a hotel down the street. Or you can put it in there as places that you want to have sex before you die. Like it could be your bucket list for sexual places that you want to have a romp in the bed. The next app on our list is Sex Keeper. Okay. This is, believe it or not, as I said before, exercise through sex is probably one of the best exercises you can possibly do. You burn a lot of calories. This particular app will maintain how many calories you have burned during sex. So it is a calorie counter. They have other ones out there, Runkeeper. Runkeeper is the one above it, and they brought out this one, which is Sex Keeper. And it also will track your performance, how long that you can go in the bed and everything else. Little trippy there. There's a few others here. Boost Sex Drive. Hypnosis is an app that will hypnotize you into better sex and stuff. Really, I would be really wary on that one. It would be very fun and for entertainment purposes only. However, you might just get that one person who is very persuasive, and it actually has an effect on. So think before you play with that, because that's what it is all about. So, as promised, my dears, I am going to talk about some positions that are going to give you some awesome sex for that part. When you're having sex with that person who is not fully endowed in the penis area, but knows how to work it in the bedroom. So there are some positions that your partner can actually benefit as well. And as I had promised, we are ending out the show with these positions. So now the old saying goes, it's not the size that matters, but how you use it, which is always so true. But me as a woman, and I know how other women probably feel, they kind of sort of want that big penis. And the way it just works and kind of scratches their brain when they're getting banged on. Putting it simple terms. But there are some guys out there that aren't now well endowed, but awesome in the bedroom. So these are some positions that will actually work for them, as well as getting you the pleasure that you want on a smaller package. So, first one on our list is the hound dog. Talking about Elvis there. I'm nothing but a hound dog. Well, that is one of the positions, and I cannot say for him. I don't know. He's up there. Or as everybody says, he has gone home. But this is a slight modification of the doggy position, all right? In this position, you get on all fours, but instead of keeping your back level as you were if you were doing the doggy style, you lower yourself onto your arms and arch your back. So, when this is the partner now. This is for, but I'm sure there are ways to work this in every other type of relationship. Then, when you get like that, when you arch and you get on your arm, your guy penetrates you from behind. So your partner will penetrate you from behind, and they push your buttocks towards themselves to help them get as deep as possible inside of you. And the reason why this position works, because it lets him enter you at an angle, thereby allowing the head of his penis to stimulate your G-spot. And that is how it is explained. So, and the G-spot is actually been found to be located on the inner front wall of your vagina. Although there are other ways to get to it, but this is the commonplace as to where it is. Another good position is called X-Box the spot, which is very, very good. You lie on top of your partner so that you are facing his feet or their feet. Your genitals should be touching each other's. You lift your buttocks up and allow your partner to penetrate you. Slowly ride your partner, moving your hips up and down. This position gives your partner a great view of your rear end. So, and they sometimes really, that's why they do doggy style. They kind of like that. It's a different angle, and they're actually watching, kind of have a difficult time when you're in missionary position. You can't exactly see your penis penetrating her vagina. So, but more importantly, it lets your partner penetrate you deeply and allows the shaft of the penis to come in contact with your clitoris, believe it or not. So that's very good position. Now another one's called the spread eagle. And we all know what spread eagle is. So this one also allows for deep penetration. You lie on your back and have your partner kneel in front of you. Lift your legs as high as you can and spread them wide apart. As simple as that. Spread eagle. Now you let your partner enter you with their penis. And then he's basically going to hold on to your knees or thighs, one or the other, which will help your partner to hold your legs apart and to hold you up. So that's really, really good. This position allows your partner to, thrust as fast and as deep as they want to on you. So the angle is there, the openness of the vagina, and all the clitoris is exposed, everything. So it allows you to do it. And you just sit there and relax, laying on your back. With this position, actually, you should be able to feel the head of the penis hit your G-spot and the base of the penis rub up against your clitoris. If not, I think you're doing it wrong, but try it again. Adjust your hips a little until you feel it, because that's what it's there for. That's why you're doing it. So the next one is rest and press. Lie on your back. Get your partner to kneel in front of you and enter you from the stance right there. You bend your knees and rest your feet against his chest or your partner's chest. And then they can actually hold on to your ankles or knees if they want. They are free to thrust as fast and as hard as they want, but be sure to keep your feet, pressed firmly against their chest. This while they are moving in and out of you, thrusting in and out and in and out. This position actually allows for the shaft of the penis to enter deeply. But your legs are also pressed against your man's or your partner's torso, which will maximize the friction between the penis and your clitoris. Obviously, the also famous woman on top. I don't think I have to explain that one to you. So just get in that position, woman on top, and most women really like that because they are able to have your penis go deeper inside. So that's that. The reverse cowgirl, talk about that always. Obviously, it's similar to the woman on top position, except that your body's turned around. So it's a different angle. It allows for the penis to go in at a better angle and go very, very much deeper inside. The next is the slide. And with the slide, you get on your you get your actually to lie on their back. You get on top of them and you insert the penis into your vagina before slowly lowering your body so that you're lying on top of your partner. Press your legs tightly together, which is basically controlling the penis as well and giving them a little bit more feeling right there of you. While your partner is inside of you, you slide your body up and down, making sure that your clitoris rubs against the base of the penis. And it's also, like I said, it makes the penis feel really snug and rugged down there. So that's what that one's all about. We have the butterfly next on our list, and we are coming to the last two positions of the butterfly. You find a spot on the edge of the bed and lie on your back. And you're going to make sure that your butt is right at the edge. Get your partner to stand by the side of the bed, facing you, of course. Raise your legs and lift your buttocks off of the bed. Raising your pelvis as high as you can. Drape your legs over your guy's shoulder. You might have to be a little acrobatic with this, but I think you can do it. And then you ask your man to support your butt cheeks. Or you can just say, hold your butt. Or say it's sexy. Who's to say? They might like when you kind of tell them do it, be dominant with it. But they are to hold them with their hands and then to penetrate you. You might want to gyrate your hips to create a deeper stimulation in this position, which is really good. This also, by you pressing your thighs tightly together, increases the contact between your clitoris and the penis. The tight doggy. Now, when we say the tight doggy, obviously we're going from the doggy style position. But instead of the partner placing their legs in between yours, adjust yourself so that your legs are pressed closely together and positioned between your partners. Usually yours are separated, your legs are spread out. This time they're going to spread. Let them, spread eagle for you. And this, as the wider that they go and resting outside of yours, it creates a very tight fit in the vagina for the penis. So, and they can just keep going to town like the standard doggy style. And the last one we're going to discuss today is the sexy spoon. Now remember, spooning after sex is afterplay, which is very, very intimate. So if we are putting this into a sexual position, imagine what it is going to do for the both of you. Now you ask your partner to spoon you as usual, like you would do after sex. Okay, or even beforehand when you're just fondling each other. And you're going to basically pull your legs up towards your chest and get your partner to pull their legs up too. So they're basically aligned with yours. This position, your partner should be able to enter you easily. And it's not only super intimate, like when it is with afterplay, post-sex. It also narrows down the vaginal wall canal. And by doing that narrowing of the vagina canal, you get a tighter fit. So you're really feeling, doesn't matter what size the man is, you actually are getting a good tight fit and a good feel during sex. So that is the end of my show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, please practice safe sex, if not for your partner, for yourself. I know we got COVID going on here, but still that does not mean anything. We are protecting one way, we also need to protect another. So do practice safe sex, and always remember, consent is very important. If you're trying anything new, educate, please. Always educate. To end the show by saying thank you for tuning into the GSMC podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. That really helps us and it helps me. Also, if you can, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You will definitely find us there. Thank you and have a good night.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcasts on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network. From sex and relationships to health and wellness, life and happiness, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Sex Podcast.